Hi, I'm Tisch, and I'm the retiring Assistant Dean for Student and Alumni Affairs. For the last 27 and a half years, I've had the great fortune of being part of the group that established the College of Public Health, and I've headed up the Office of Student and Alumni Affairs since then. There is a new Assistant Dean, Andre Dickerson, and I hope you get to know him. I was really thrilled when somebody said to me, it would be really great if you could share some of your strategies for success with our new incoming class. And so to that end, I'm going to share my screen. And of course, you're going to notice that I borrowed a theme from Farmers Insurance commercials. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. So when you see that funny guy on the commercial, think of me as, I can tell you the real story. So on my watch, for these 27 and a half years, 93 folks have gotten their MS degrees, 94 have earned their PhD degrees, and 45 have earned DRPHs. So that's a total of 232 MS and doctoral graduates. Gives me some perspective there. And to say nothing of the thousands of undergrads and MPH grads that we also have graduated. Now, behind every one of those graduates, there was a graduation, obviously. Each of those people was unique. I'm not a big fan of the snowflake analogy, but in reality, everybody is different. Everybody is beautiful. And, that has been one of the biggest joys of my life, is to see so many different people earn and assume careers in public health. So what I thought I would do would be to talk about some of the pitfalls and potholes and speed bumps in pursuit of academic degrees that I've seen, and how they manifested themselves in our students. And the purpose of this is not to say, look what this one did or anything like that. The purpose is to say, this is probably to give you some strategies to avoid those situations. So the first thing that we always see at the beginning of a new school year with new students is burying your head. Students bury their heads in the books and they fail to make the connections or to get involved. And this is understandable. People want to do well. And so they want to read everything they can get their hands on and everything. But there are people to meet and ways to connect. Sorry about that. And what we suggest is that you engage, you network, and do it some more. You will hear over and over again, if you're not already in public health, that is a field that requires a lot of networking. Friendships are extremely helpful in grad school. So, if you're a shy person, push yourself to get out of the bubble and out of that little bubble and make connections, make relationships with your peers. Participate in college and university committees, community events, intramural sports, anything you can think of. The next pitfall we notice is students who are not paying attention to communicated or published college or grad college policies, or their deadlines and guidelines, or promotion of opportunities. And so what that results in usually is extended timelines to degree, and you don't want to do that to yourself. Sometimes people miss funded teaching or research positions just because they didn't read. And also miss information about scholarships, fellowships, outreach activities. So, as much, if I could do anything in my life, sometimes, some days it's run away from email, but if you don't read your email, you don't know what's going on. So I get it, but help yourself out. Strategies for success in that regard are read your email, especially the Friday digest emails that come from your grad coordinator. No, really read your email. We skim sometimes, but read it, read your program handbook several times throughout the year. So what you read in that handbook, you will forget, but hopefully maybe you will remember, I think it's in the handbook, and you'll go to refer to it. The next thing that we see happening is seeing students who want to pursue interest areas that faculty do not or cannot support. So this little table example is to show you, look, we get lots of applications, and then that's winnowed down to a much smaller number that's offered admission, and then a much smaller number that actually enrolls. Well, people are offered admission usually because there's something in your statement or in your, in the application somewhere that shows you're interested in something that the faculty knows about, can help you develop a research area. So the strategy for being successful in this regard is to get to know the program faculty. So acquaint yourself with their work, everything that they've read or that they've written. And then the other key point is to look at the bibliographies that faculty have used in their work. Oftentimes you get acquainted with areas of research that you never knew existed in this way, but you also can see what has influenced the thinking of your faculty mentors and instructors. Another way to acquaint yourself with what else is going on is to look in the on the website of the university and look at minors across the college. This is a Research One institution, and research is happening all over the place, all kinds of great research. So try that. An early pitfall, and one that continues, is for students who are waiting till the last minute before a semester starts to find or arrange their funding. Funding's difficult, we all know that, and but the earlier you start on coming up with a strategy, the better. So how do you do that? Well, there are resources all over the place, but the closest place to look is look throughout the university and graduate college. You find opportunities or for researching by looking at other colleges within the university. You should be applying for scholarships anywhere and everywhere you can find them, not just through the College of Public Health. Consider fellowships and internships as a way to fund your education, and connect with faculty who are conducting research that interests you. So if you are having conversations with your faculty and you know that they're doing research in an area that seems particularly stimulating to you, make sure they know that. It's much easier when they get a new grant or a new research project that's got funding and they need students to help them on it. It's much easier to say, hey, I talked with a student who told me that we exchanged ideas about ideas, much easier to connect with a person like that than to connect with just a name on a piece of paper. And then this one's a little bit off of what I've been talking about, but we find that students who participate in financial planning workshops often they develop great areas of ingenuity in funding their research or their education. The next little was it's a pothole because it really can take you off track, is using your buddies, your fellow students, your family, or psychics as your academic advisors. Instead of doing that, make sure that you check out any information or advice that you get from your fellow students that is not explained in your handbook. So check it out with the grad coordinator. We try to do a pretty comprehensive job of writing our handbooks, but sometimes, things get missed or they're new and they didn't get in the last iteration of a handbook. So just talk to the grad coordinator several times a year to check in. It will help you tremendously. Speed bump. Switching faculty mentors. We see this every year where somebody comes in and says, I'm just not clicking with this faculty mentor, and or I'm trying to put together my committee and I don't know if this person is the right one for me. Maybe it's a personality difference, or sometimes it's just a minute thing that's occurred. So my strategy there is that you research your faculty members' interests before you do anything, but never, ever, ever do this in haste. Don't do a quick, this is it. I'm switching mentors right now, because sometimes those, the mismatch that you feel is very temporary, or it's based on, two people who are not connecting in one conversation, but later conversations, they're great. So, when you're thinking about, your mentor, et cetera, make sure that you're treating your faculty the way you would like to be treated, with respect. Show up to meetings that have been scheduled, show up on time, and don't send email after email after email. Another little thing that happens, life gets in the way. Sometimes when you're on your way to an academic degree, I've tried to give some representation of the things that have happened to our students, military service, having babies, being injured, having a spouse that needs to move and you've got to go with them. The last little cartoon, though, is something that does happen just very infrequently, but it's when a faculty member moves or retires. The point here is that these things happen and they can be dealt with, but you have to not let them just say, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this program anymore. There are ways to find help with any situation. Keep in touch with your faculty and the grad coordinator to let them know what's going on. We can help with resources of all kinds. Seek counseling of different, ilk if you need it. In the Office of Student Services, or my colleagues who are still there, will be happy to help you with any kind of problem. And the other thing about grad students, they often either don't know or don't consider filing for a leave of absence. So a leave of absence can be taken for up to a year for various reasons. Personal reasons, you're working and something's going on at work that you cannot, you don't have any bandwidth to be dealing with school. Medical leaves of absence, So make sure you talk to your grad coordinator. Another thing we see is students developing a thesis or dissertation topic in a vacuum. Excuse the cartoon, or laugh if you'd like to. What I mean by this is, you know, our students in particular are particularly imaginative, I think, and they come up with some really great ideas that sound fabulous. But you know, the faculty need to help you develop that dissertation or thesis, and so you want their help in doing that. So establish regular meetings with your faculty advisor and your other mentors. You can try out new ideas with them, but make sure that you accept and utilize their feedback to perfect or hone your ideas. And of all things that we've found that's been helpful is to schedule and uphold regular checkpoints during the writing process. So as much as, you know, in this regard, this is where calendars are your friend. Get it on the calendar, and don't forget that you've got deadlines, etc. Another speed bump toward the end: accepting a job before your committee has agreed that you are ready to defend your dissertation. And an accompanying one is moving away before you've completed your dissertation. So what I can say about that is realize that just because you have a job does not mean that faculty have to go along with your self-imposed deadline. Your deadlines are your deadlines, their deadlines are their deadlines. So, you know, I think it's great when people all of a sudden come up and say, I got a postdoc, but I'm not completely done. That is, that can be problematic. So keep, you know, together with the faculty chair, develop and keep a schedule for your regular communication with them and all the committee members. You know, make a common understanding of these deadlines and expectations and deliver on them. There are so many ways to communicate nowadays that you can't hide. You know, it's in your benefit. It's to your benefit to communicate. So use Skype, Zoom, whatever it is. Now that we're all experts at it, at Zooming, it really will help you. And the last thing that you do not want to do in this regard is to insist that your deadlines are their deadlines, because they simply are not. And the more you insist on it, the less they're going to cooperate. Okay, strategies for success. Okay, in the real deal here is that you need to maintain balance in your life. You know, there's so many things out there in the real world, nature, that are fun to do around here, and especially when it's not 1,000,000 degrees, but celebrate nature, exercise, hobbies, you know, as we discussed, cultivate your friendships, but have fun and eat well, and develop and stick to your sleep schedule. It will be so beneficial to you. We've just discussed this. And then scheduling. Okay, so the mother of all speed bumps is when you are trying to schedule the dissertation defense, because you're almost there, you can taste it. But the strategy for success there is to, start early. Meet with the grad coordinator early to understand the policies and the processes and the grad college deadlines regarding dissertations. it's very difficult sometimes to get a group of faculty together at a specific time because everybody's got their own responsibilities, their own calendars that they are supposed to be responsible for carrying out. So check in regularly with your committee chair and the members about expectations and your timeline. You know, do not surprise anybody, okay? And then so I've tried to give you a whirlwind description of things that you can do to help yourself. Now, one of the things that I've always say to grad students is, to lots of people is, and Woody Allen was first attributed, this saying was attributed to Woody Allen, that 80% of success is showing up. And sometimes, it's hard to get up out of bed, it's hard to go to class, etc. But getting there is more than half the battle sometimes. Get up, get involved, and suddenly you find yourself on a road to success. And you now know how to avoid some of the potholes and pitfalls. So thanks for letting me share these things with you. I know that I have been watching and reading about all of you as we admitted you into the college. It looks like a great class, and I'm sorry that I'm gonna, not be here, but I know that you all have what it takes to be successful in grad school. So thank you very much and good luck. Bye-bye.